So we're pro bike on this channel. Well, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I'm pro bike and I prefer bikes. I prefer bikes in games. I prefer bikes in real life. In MX versus ATV, I usually use the bike more. I mean, no, not usually. I always use the bike more, but once in a while I will break out the quad and whatever. But for the most part, I prefer bikes in games. I have them in real life. I have two bikes. I have a YZ125. It has an Athena cylinder on it, so it is a 144 now, but I have a YZ125 and I have a CRF 250, and I've been riding and racing for over 20 years. So yes, naturally I do tend to gravitate towards bikes in games, especially in MX versus ATV. Now for today's video, well, before we get to that, I do want to ask, are you a bike player rider or are you a quad player rider? Or do you maybe prefer bikes in games but prefer the quad in real life? Or do you prefer quads in real life and bikes in games? You know, I'd be really curious to see. Let me know in the comments if you're like me and prefer bikes overall, or if you're the opposite. We don't have a problem with quad players. I have nothing against quad players. I actually have some friends in real life that do ride quads and prefer quads, and I ride with them. So I have nothing against quads. I just prefer bikes. And this video is going to have a decent amount of things that we're going to go over. This first part isn't the main thing that we want to show in the video, but I did want to show you some halfway, you know, decent, satisfying, kind of quick, hitting most of the decent, maybe not the biggest lines, but most the bigger lines on some of these tracks. And what I tried to do, because this would be Supercross Encore, if you're not familiar, they did make MX vs ATV Supercross first, and then they made this enhanced, better edition called Supercross Encore, and in my opinion it is much better. So what I tried to do today was play some tracks here at the beginning with the bike, because we got to get bike content in the video. We got to get bike content in, even if we're going to have quad stuff. But some kind of, in my opinion, they were relatively satisfying. Not perfect. I haven't played the game seriously in many years. I mean, I probably haven't played Supercross Encore seriously since before MX versus ATV All Out. So it has been many years. I mean, what has it been? 8 years? At least 7-8 years since I played it seriously. And while the game is very easy, pick up and play, arcade, very polarizing game. Some people love it, some people hate it, but I love it. Very arcade though. You can jump entire rhythm sections and whatnot, but to get really good at the game wasn't the easiest thing. I had a bunch of time in it. I knew some of the best, fastest players in the world. I learned a lot from racing online and, you know, talking to them and racing those guys, but I wouldn't consider myself one of the best, not even close. I mean, not even close, but I do consider myself a decent player when I was playing it seriously, so I can say that to do some of this stuff wasn't the easiest. But yes, very arcade. I won't argue with you. Very arcade, very fantasy and not realistic and whatnot. So yeah, I will agree with you on that. But before we get to the main part, I just wanted to pick some DLC tracks here that we don't play very often, and I didn't play even when I was covering the game. They were tracks that I kind of covered when the DLC came out, but then never really returned to them, minus this final track, which would be not Glendale, Phoenix. It would be Phoenix, and this is a base stock track in the game, one of my favorites. It is a relatively simple track, and I feel like most people can do the really big, fast lines here because it is a very flowy track, but some of the lines you go for can be kind of tricky, and you know, whatever. So we're gonna wrap up with the bike here on this track before we jump over to the main part. And you might be saying, where's the main part? Well, the main part's coming. Main part's going to be the back half of the video, and it's going to be about the quad. The quad, not the bike, but I wanted to show some bike stuff here because, again, that's why we opened the video the way we did, that I am a bike player, a bike rider in real life. I prefer bikes and whatnot, but have to have some of that in the video before we switch over to the quad. Now, the quad, this is the quad, the one quad I can think of that is a bike eater. It will shame your bike. It is probably the most wild, as far as power goes, it has the biggest difference between the quad and the bike in any MX versus ATV game I can think of. I mean, I've used the quads. I played ATV Off-Road Fury. I've used the quads in the early MX versus ATV games, and while they felt kind of comparable, relatively comparable, this quad does things better than the bike. Now, it does kind of even itself out to some degree because the handling isn't as good, but it has an insane clutch boost and an insane boost of power. I mean, the tracks you've seen, some of those lines, yes, I can do most of them with the bike, but much more difficult. This Minnesota one, right off the start, jumping that entire section, I can't do that with the bike. Here we stay at Minnesota. This rhythm section, yes, I can do it with the bike. Not insanely difficult, but with the quad, very, very easy. This would be Houston, I believe. Very tricky, very difficult track, but check it out. We jump the entire rhythm section. We land all the way on the backside of the berm for the first corner, the first turn, and then we jump the next entire rhythm section. We stay at Houston, and this rhythm section I can do with the bike, but I can actually jump one farther with the quad, and I believe with the bike, I have to touch down one more time in that rhythm section. Just showing you that with the quad, it's very easy to do some of this stuff. Very much more easy than it is with the bike, just because you don't have to whip glitch, maybe. I mean, sometimes you do, but sometimes you don't. You can not have to maintain momentum as much because of the insane boost it gets. Now, Stewart Compound, most of the stuff I can do with the bike, but again, just showing you with the quad, it's very easy. I feel like that back rhythm section before the finish line, you almost could jump in and jump out. Maybe if you tried hard enough or whatever, or got a better whip glitch or whatever, maybe you could. But mostly I just wanted to show the Stewart Compound because I really want to see this in MX vs. ATV Legends, or the new Stewart Compound. But yeah, some of that stuff, very difficult on the bike. This would be 2017 Phoenix. That first rhythm section, I don't even think I can do that with the bike. This is still 2017 Phoenix. I can do with the bike, but very difficult. I mean, you're basically at a dead stop with the quad, and you can still easily overjump hitting that bridge and trying to do that rhythm section the way it is. This would be 2017 Vegas. Some of this stuff I don't even know if I can do with the bike. I'm pretty sure I have to make a cut here, but I'm pretty sure off this first rhythm section off the start, I don't think I can jump that many in. I can do a very similar line with the bike, and it probably comes out to be about the same, but jumping in, I would say the quad doesn't know the term double or triple. The term double or triple does not exist in the quad vocabulary because in this game, because there is no such thing as a double or a triple out of a corner. The minimum it's going to be is a quad. The quad will at minimum quad or quinto or whatever. I mean, Salt Lake, very difficult track. I can actually jump one farther with the quad. It is so crazy what you can do with it, and it is just wildly different and opposite of what the bike can do. The bike has to maintain way more momentum than what the quad has to do because it doesn't have the same boost of power. Now, to wrap up the video, we use a quad in more of a normal way here at the Stewart Compound on the Pro Loop. I just kind of missed the compound. I remember when Encore came out, it wasn't my favorite DLC. I always enjoyed it, and when I would stream, I used to stream probably at least once or twice a week playing this game, but I kind of quit doing it, and when we would stream, a bunch of you guys would join in, and then we would play. Usually you wanted to play the Stewart Compound, so we would, but now that I don't have it, or don't, play it in this game, I do kind of miss it. So yeah, let me know, are you a quad guy or a bike guy? Do you agree with it? I mean, I don't even know. It's an opinion, because yes, I kind of talked about it, but the quad and the bike kind of even out because the bike is easier to control, easier to corner. In general, I would have to say that the bike has better handling. Now, the quad can fly. I was going to say blitz, but more than blitz, it can eat up. This quad eats everything in its path, okay? It is a monster. So the quad can absolutely eat a section of whoops, but if you get out of control, the quad starts to get that wobble and can be kind of difficult to bring it back. So yeah, while it is very good in the whoops, if you're clutch boosting, it can be kind of difficult at the same time. And I didn't really talk about it, but the trick to the quad the manual. We're using it more normal here, but the manual. Put it in first gear and absolutely clutch boost your finger out. You will get finger pump. You will get index or middle finger pump depending on where you put your fingers and how you hold the controller. I know a bunch of kids probably use the claw grip. I use a claw grip, but for this game I don't really, because back in the day you used to not have bumpers, so you didn't need 2 fingers on top. But it doesn't really matter how you grab the controller, you're gonna get finger pump because you're gonna be spamming the clutch to be able to do what we're doing in the video. So you guys and girls are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for the support on the channel lately. It really does mean a lot. And until the next video, take it easy.